219, 219. Bowman, scholars have to shine. 219, 219. Bowman, scholars have to shine. 219.
Welcome to WTBA.
Where we report the facts.
And not the caps.
We start today with some staff interviews.
First, I report out my email interview our office manager, Ms. Thorpe.
What has been your biggest challenge?
That's a really good question. I don't think I've ever really thought about what was the hardest for me in life. I always felt like if it needed to be done, you just got in there and tried to do it. But I'm going to say it's more of a personal thing, maybe my own self-confidence.
What motivates you?
Need. When I see something is needed or someone needs something, it's easier to do something, I feel like, especially for people when you see a need.
What makes you unique?
Because God made me this way. That's the only answer anybody has. I don't know otherwise what makes me really unique. I think that everybody is. I think that that's probably the hardest thing for us to remember, that we are all completely and totally unique. Nobody is like you.
What do you consider your weakness?
My self-confidence.
Have you always wanted to do your job, what you're doing?
Have I what?
Always want to do what you're doing?
Let me tell you something. When I was a kid, I used to hate numbers. Math was not my favorite subject. Reading, yes. English, I read like crazy. But no, I never really thought about it. It just kind of came, you know, how things sometimes just come to you. And sometimes you just accept what it is and you do the best you can with it.
What's your educational background?
Well, to be honest, I went to Walton School of Commerce, and it was this school that basically was supposed to be training me to be a medical terminologist. And then I went into publishing, and it was a medical publishing company. From there, I left Chicago and came back home, and it was hard to find that kind of job here. So in the end, I ended up just until I found Thea Bowman, and I wanted to be here.
Next, I interviewed our college and career counselor, Mrs. Tillman. Hi, Ms. Tillman.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am well, and you?
You ready?
All the time.
What's your educational background?
Too much. I have several degrees. I have an associate's, I have a bachelor's, I have a master's, and I'm pursuing a mortuary science degree.
Mortuary science? You want to be a funeral director?
I'm still trying to decide if I want to do the whole thing or just embalming. I'm already certified in cremation, so I'm still trying to decide how I want to use it.
How long have you been in education?
Working in education since 2006.
How long have you been a counselor?
Since a guidance counselor or other kind of counselor?
Guidance counselor.
Guidance counselor since 2006.
How does it feel when you can't reach every student?
Like I still have work to do.
That part. What's your craziest story from your childhood or teenage years?
Fighting in the haunted house. What happened? First and foremost, I didn't want to go in there. But because everyone's like, come on, come on, come on, because I'm always going to make it comical. And I said, if one of them things jump out and they touch me, I'm stealing on them. And that's what happened. It jumped out. It frightened me a little bit. And they got stolen. And they jumped up like they was going to do something. And there, thus, the fight ensued.
Thank you, Ms. Tillman.
Huh? Huh?
Thank you, Mrs. Tillman.
You're quite welcome, sir.
Finally, our junior reporter, Jerry Ling, sat down with the high school counselor, Miss Artis.
So today we are here with Miss Artis. Hi, Miss Artis. So how have you been today?
I'm great. It's been a busy day, but we're at TBLA. So what do you expect?
That's the only thing I say there. So I invited you over here today was because I wanted to interview you with a couple of questions, if that's fine.
Yeah, that's great. Let's go.
Okay,
Shoot.
so one of the questions is, what do you love about your job so far?
Oh, wow. Specifically here at TBLA, I think one of the things that I've really embraced is the fact that everyone has embraced me. I felt very much welcomed here. And I think there's a lot of work to do. So I'm very excited about the opportunity to bring my skill sets and my knowledge to the community of Thea Bowman.
Okay, and when you mean by skill sets, what can you provide for the Thea Bowman?
So traditionally, I am by trade a counselor. I went to school to become a mental health counselor. So schools were never in my story as far as I was concerned. I was going to get a mental health counseling license. I was going to open my own private practice, and I was going to change the way people thought about mental health. And that was my goal. So I went to school and did all of that. Got a bachelor's degree in psychology, and then got a master's degree in mental health counseling. And then during my course of work, realized that I kind of really liked younger clients that I had. And in the process of doing so, I had to visit a couple of schools. And they said, hey, I think you would be really good as a school counselor. And so I was interviewed at that time. And the principal, who was also a counselor, become principal, was my mentor. So I have thoroughly enjoyed being a counselor in schools for the past 2 decades.
2 decades, wow.
Yeah.
So do you think that your experiences could help the kids at Thea Bowman today?
Absolutely. I am well versed in not only mental health, but all things academic. That's my wheelhouse. I am here as a high school counselor to help ensure that you are on track for graduation, that you know the expectation for graduation, and that if you need a little push or a tug or a pull, you get that too. But my role is to help you understand what the requirements are for graduation in the state of Indiana and for Thea Bowman, and to help you come up with a specialized plan for your life after high school.
Okay, wow. So basically, when you come to your job here, what do you expect every day when you leave?
I think I expect to feel exhausted. I want to pour out everything that I have in me so that you guys can get what you need. So I feel like if I leave here and I'm not a bit taxed, maybe I haven't done enough. So I think for me, it's really about pouring out what I do know and what I do have to offer. One of the main reasons that I'm a counselor is because I didn't have a counselor in my school that looked like me. And so I want to be available to other Black and brown kids because I am who I serve. And that's my why. And so I show up every day with that mindset and wanting to serve you all to the best of my ability to ensure that you navigate not just high school, but life.
Okay, that is really sweet. So basically, what I'm hearing is that you came here on a mission to make sure that each and every one of these kids, from elementary towards high school, that we all have the things that we need for high school and life and afterwards, right?
Absolutely. That's definitely a lofty goal, but it's definitely something that I'm willing to sign up for, and I do it every day.
Okay, so when you come to Thea Bowman today, and like, for example, if someone isn't right in the mindset or anything like that, do you help them with their academic or their mental state first?
Well, I think academics and mental health are directly correlated, which is why my background is really helpful in school settings, because I do have that background. And for me, a lot of times you can't really address the academic without understanding what the emotional part is. So oftentimes I'll do little things like you see my little fidgets here, those to kind of set people at ease so that we can talk about the academic stuff. And a lot of times talking about the academic stuff brings about the emotional stuff. And so it kind of works hand in hand. Although I don't directly do therapy, I am very well versed and I'm able to tap into the resources that we have here at TBLA so that if scholars do need additional assistance, they can get that from our social worker.
Wow, I don't have any more questions right now. But I do have one last question though,
Okay.
before I really think about some more, because I am a little curious about your job now.
Okay.
Um, so when you step foot into this room, this
Mhm.
very room only,
Yeah. Okay.
and you sit down and you get your work started, do you feel like any progress is being made with TBLA?
Well, I think there's a lot of great progress since I've been here. I've been here only a short while. So I've been here for about 3-4 months or so, starting in August. So yeah, do the math. In that time, I see a lot of progress. I see a lot of energy. I see a lot of excitement. I am feeling like we are hitting the ground running on a lot of different areas. But I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing is that you all want to learn. The scholars here want to have what they need to be successful academically and socially. And so I think putting those things together, progress is being made. The pieces are being put in place, but change takes time, right? And so we are definitely working to enhance the services to you all so that you get everything that you need, not just a piece of the pie.
Okay, speaking of piece of the pie, so say we're all the pie of the crust. Like the Thea Bowman is the pie, and the inner layer is the students, and then like the fruits are like the little ones. The crust part, like the mantle, basically, is the rules. So how do you feel about like the crust of the school?
I think that the expectations of the Leadership Academy can be better defined. I think that we have to work together more, scholars and adults, to come up with a formula that works for us. I think that you all come from a particular generation that is not mine. I know that's hard for you to believe, but I think because of that, we have a unique charge to bridge the gap between our generations. And I'm sure you have examples where, right, you were interacting with somebody from my generation and it didn't work out because I have different expectations for the crust, right? Like what you're saying. But I think that there's ways that we can come together and we can both get what we need. Your idea of respect may not align with mine, but we can come up with an agreed upon definition so that we can be successful together. And I think those are the opportunities we have to take hold of here at TBLA so that we can meet each other's needs and better serve you all academically and socially.
Wow. So far we've been talking about like the students' needs. What about the staff needs?
Oh, there are plenty of staff needs. I think that one of those things, like I was saying, is an understanding from you all about where we are coming from and the gifts that we have and the skills that we have that you all absolutely need for the next steps. And I think that a lot of times those get convoluted because you are worried about the rules and the expectations and all that stuff. But in the midst of that, there are some amazing staff here that absolutely care about your well-being beyond academics. We don't just want you to graduate, we want you to graduate and change the world. And so I think that a lot of staff really need your buy-in, that that's important to you as scholars, that you're going to show up and that you're going to put in 100% just like they are. I think staff are also very much trying to find ways to connect with you all. And so having conversations like this and talking about ways that we can do that, I think is going to be very important for our progression, for us to get better. By the time you graduate, hopefully we'll have made even enough progress whereby you can truly say, hey, that's my school. I feel good about being there and I've gotten everything I need to be able to go into the next step of my life. I think that there are lots of staff here who are putting themselves in a position to develop the necessary skill sets, to develop the necessary interrelational tools to be able to impact you all's lives in a more positive way. I'm very thankful that I'm a part of the TBLA counseling team. I have a great group of women who are working with me and working for you all to make sure that you guys get everything you need. And so I hope that we can just touch as many people in this building as possible to make that happen.
And do you believe that there are some kids that can't be touched?
Absolutely not. There is not a one. You all have the potential to be exactly what you want to be, but you've got to put your work in. I got to put my work in, and we got to come together to come up with the right plan for you, because yours is not going to look like mine, and it's definitely not going to look like hers. So you want to make sure that we are having these conversations so I get to know you better. I get to know what it is you want to do, and I can connect you to those opportunities and resources.
Okay. So basically, when it comes down to like the staff having to, have like certain conversations with students
Mhm.
about, their academic lives, or when it comes down to like counseling, mental lives,
Mhm.
do you think that you can partake in like certain activities to where the students can feel more comfortable coming to school for this?
Absolutely. I think visibility is important for me. You've probably seen me in a class or two or around in the hallways. I think that you seeing us at social events, there's a poetry slam tomorrow night, seeing us out there enjoying your life and your achievements and your accomplishments is a part of bridging that gap, right?
Mhm.
But I think that we still have a long way to go. And these conversations aren't going to feel safe until we start putting ourselves in a position to share more and to be more vulnerable. I think hearing those things that are important to you all, there have to be spaces for those. So creating those spaces so that we can have those conversations is going to be important. So I think it would be a nice thing for us to sit down and talk about how we can make that happen on a more permanent basis, on a regular basis throughout the school year, and even over the course of the summer, so that we can all keep moving the mark forward.
Okay, I really love your answers. One last question though. Basically, um, right here we see you have fidgets and everything.
Mhm.
So, do you allow your students or staff members to like use these particular items?
Absolutely. Yes. I even will launch one every once in a while across the suite, depending on the situation. But yeah, these are just all tools that have helped me kind of learn how to regulate my emotions, whether it's a stress ball or maybe I just need to take a moment and calm down. I've got little puzzles because sometimes when you have to try to figure something out, it can, calm you and help you get out of an angry state. And then I have little textural things and stuff too that can help. So I try to use the things that have worked for me and that other scholars have said have worked for them. Yeah, I try to keep those available. I have coloring books and things like that. But the ultimate goal is to get you on track academically and to help you to navigate those emotions so that they don't interfere with your success.
Okay, thank you for your time, Miss Artist.
You're so very welcome. Thank you.
Every once in a while, I like to come from behind the camera and talk about the real challenges that face us. This week unveils my new series, Troop on the Ground, where I and some guest hosts will interview community leaders and civil servants in an attempt to find new solutions to old problems. For our first interview, I sat down with Gary Police Chief Anthony Titus. Here's a preview. With phones having programs such as AirDrop,
Yeah.
it allows a person to send or receive content essentially through Bluetooth.
Mhm.
So, will anyone who sends or receives content be charged, even if they are a child?
Well, so let's go back to the state statute which says anyone under the age of 18 is in possession of child pornography, right? Now, you brought up an interesting point. If I have my AirDrop on, somebody can AirDrop me a picture. Now, I have a responsibility at this point, right? Because we're all curious. We're going to open, somebody sent me something, we're going to click. When you click that picture, you have two options. You can tell someone what you have just received on your phone, or you can delete it, right? So what does that mean? I'm an unwilling participant in what just occurred, or am I going to be a willing participant in that? Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that? Sometimes as children, young people, again, we talked earlier about you're still developing. Your brain isn't fully developed, meaning you don't make the best decisions. So sometimes someone sends or shows you something and the first thing you want to do is go send and show it to someone else. So now you have just not only possessed child pornography, you've also shared it.
You can see the full interview on our channel.
I'm Destiny.
And I'm Tristan.
This has been WTBA.